So let me conclude our two-day conference with a few remarks, and then I will hand it over to Ed Yellen, who will say a couple of things as well. So the first thing is what an incredible education I received from Kathy Mosier about Industry 5.0. What a vision it is. Human factors and ergonomics gets at the heart of human-centered technology design, but human factors and ergonomics cannot do this alone. All stakeholders who have a role in health, well-being, and productivity need to be part of the design. But how can we do that when we are so siloed and specific in the knowledge that we have and in the skills that we own? So this approach calls for interdisciplinary coordination across stakeholders to design together to produce the desired results. So we've got to think about more interdisciplinary coordination and design. Second thing I want to comment on is about health risk surveillance, how critical that is to make visible the invisible. And largely neglected problem of the growing number of occupation-related illnesses and injuries, especially for workers in non-traditional, non-employer work arrangement. It's a huge issue, huge problem, and we need to focus on it. Third, I want to talk about Stefanos Skevan's talk on making thermal comfort part of the ecology of the work environment that boosts not only satisfaction, but also boosts productivity and reduces the energy use in significant ways. This is a very fruitful area of exploration coming up. And I hope we put more emphasis on the physical environment, particularly the indoor environmental and quality where all of us work, whether we're working from home or working on the work site. The talk about technology products in the pursuit of revenue and sales that is mining our data was a very scary thought. And without oversight for the unintended consequences and invisible exposure to risks that are contained within those technologies to both personal and organizational risk, we need to make it visible. We need to make it obvious what these consequences are, but the oversight of it is really problematic. And collectively across these last 2 days, having more information about the size of the problem of technology that serves the master of surveillance, monitoring, and data gathering, it seems that it's quite a large problem. And technology can be good and technology can be not so good. So now it is up to researchers, practitioners, and decision makers who hold the purse to commit to and fund the kinds of changes necessary to create a future that is best for humans, wherever they work, however they work. We have a lot to work on. And as Fareed Zakaria might say, let's get started. So the next steps appear to be working towards models of interdisciplinary coordination in human-centered design processes, making this model compelling, cost acceptable, not cheap, but acceptable and easy. And secondly, to work with policymakers to understand the potential size of occupation-related illness and injury prevalence in the American workforce, and the data mining that is underway through these various technologies. So we need to begin task forces to provide pathways to addressing surveillance and treatment of conditions. Okay, those are my final words, and I will turn it over to Ed Yellen. Thank you for attending this valuable conference, and I hope you are taking away some great ideas for what to do in the future. Ed.
So I'm overwhelmed with the amount of information over these 2 days, and this last session was really a fantastic way to end the conference with an agenda for what and how we can do things to improve the welfare of workers in an age when information is controlled more by the hire of people than by the people who are hired. I would now ask that all of those who were involved in this conference, please turn on your cameras so we can recognize you and appreciate you. I promise to be done so we do not steal the time of our participants, as I said at the end of yesterday. So I'm just going to mention your names and some of the roles. Cristina has been obviously a great moderator for these 2 days. Laura and Victor, the session we just had ended for me, even though there's a long road to climb, on a very positive note, because it gave us some hope that there is something that we can do to improve things. Kristen Harknett, in describing the extent to which some of the technologies have infiltrated the service sector, the largest sector of the economy, you show us where we need to have our focus. Carissa was really essential in finding really great speakers to address the issue of the ergonomic and social challenges of working in a contemporary workplace. Laura Trupin has, in addition to doing a masterful job of creating a playlist for us to listen to in our breaks, Laura has been the one person in this who initially saw the purpose for a conference focused on the way technology is affecting the welfare of workers. So congratulations on taking us forward to this most important topic. Ima Verghese-Mack has been, as you know, central to the getting this to completion, both in organizing the conference and in making sure that everybody who was speaking, and there were a lot of them, got their materials to us on time. And finally, I've left the best for last. Our center could not exist in its outreach activities without Michelle Meyer. She knows the systems that get people to get all the CE credits. She knows how to handle the logistics. She knows the substance. She suggested speakers. She suggested formats. She just knows how to project out to the public in a way that few of us ever will. So to all of you, thank you. But the biggest thanks of all goes to the participants in the meeting who spoke, and to the participants in the meeting who listened, actively engaged with us for 2 days. And my clock says 3 o'clock. We are finished.